Hello and welcome to a series of short interviews with speakers that will be at the University of Cincinnati Center for Business Analytics Spring Conference Analytics Summit 2024. I'm Tim Scholvat, the Executive Director of the Center. We're pleased to have with us today one of our speakers from the Digital Transformation through Analytics track, Dave Cherry. Dave is an executive strategist and speaker working with clients across industries to define a customer experience strategy enabled by technology and informed by analytics. Welcome, Dave.
Thanks for having me, Tim. Excited for the conference coming up in April. Can't wait to be back in Cincinnati.
We're all looking forward to it. You've had a number of different roles in your career, including finance and IT consulting and others. What led you to start Cherry Advisory? Well, probably 10 years ago?
Yeah, we're actually entering our 11th year now. When I say we, it's just me. I am Cherry Advisory. And I would say the short story, Tim, it probably started back when I was working at Limited Brands. We had a project that we were trying to work on around merchandise profitability, and it was really digging into the data and the analytics behind what products were more profitable. And there just seemed to be a better way to answer those questions than what we had done previously. Fast forward that to another experience working at Nationwide Insurance, which the insurance industry, as you know, is the original analytics industry, right? The actuaries are our original data scientists, and got a lot of exposure to that area with Nationwide. And then when I left Nationwide in 2013, I wanted to get back into retail, but I wanted to bring that analytics mindset and those really the prioritization around data and fact-driven solutions. And I thought there was a huge opportunity. There was also a big gap in knowledge and understanding because retail has always been a gut-driven industry. And I thought there was a great opportunity to bring some of the learnings and ideas, and analytics was growing so rapidly, 2013, 2014. I thought there'd be a great opportunity to leverage my skill set and help clients in the retail industry build those analytic strategies.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense, especially sitting there in the Columbus area when you got some retail giants in the fashion industry sitting up there.
Yep.
Now, your talk's titled Beyond the Buzz, Crafting a Business-Centric Analytics Strategy for a True Digital Transformation Impact. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to address during the talk and what you want the audience to take away from the discussion?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. What this talk is really a summary of the last 10 years of consulting with Cherry Advisory. When we talk about beyond the buzz, it's about moving away from the trendy, sexy terms. A few years ago, everybody wanted to do machine learning. Why? Because everybody else was doing it, because their competitors were doing it. Most people didn't even know what machine learning was. Well, fast forward back to the present, and what are we talking about today? Most people aren't talking about generative AI. They're talking about ChatGPT, because that's the phrase, that's the Kleenex, the Xerox that we all hear about. And so why do we want to use ChatGPT? Well, everybody else is doing it. Aren't my competitors doing it? Well, there's a way to move beyond that buzz. There are absolutely some great business use cases where generative AI can be the right solution. There are a number of use cases where regressions or clustering or any of a number of other analytics techniques are the right solutions. So one of the things that I always try to do in my consulting work, when I talk about a customer experience strategy enabled by innovation and informed by analytics, it's really about figuring out what problems we're trying to solve that people care about, where we need to increase confidence. And once we identify what those problems or what those real use cases are, and there's methods to do that, which I'll share in this talk, then the next thing, which becomes a little bit easier, quite frankly, is saying, what's the right technique to deliver the proper insight to the decision maker at the right point in time? And again, there are so many different analytics techniques out there. We don't want to run around being the hammer looking for a nail. We want to figure out how to solution it properly. And it all starts with identifying and understanding the problem. And then once we do that, understand those methods to do so, the techniques, let's pick the simplest one possible. Sometimes, by the way, one of my favorite analytics techniques, Tim, is math. Sometimes it's an average, and that's all that we need. Sometimes we need the more complex, complicated algorithms, and that's great too. But let's let the problem drive the solution, not the other way around.
Yeah. And that's actually a really good point there, is that make certain that you're business focused and you're business outcome focused, and you're not necessarily over analyzing the solution to be able to get to it. There are circumstances where you have huge amounts of data, especially in retail, where you're doing demand forecasting or merchandising or something along those lines. And yet at the other end of it, yeah, sometimes just an average will do, right?
Yep.
And so, why do you feel so passionate about this area, and why do you think it's relevant, particularly relevant in today's world?
Well, I've been passionate about it simply because it's a space that I really enjoy. I'm one of those people that I love challenges. I love a blank sheet of paper where we don't really know how we're going to get there. We know where we need to go. There's a challenge in front of us. There's an old TV show called The X-Files, and they used to say the answers are out there.
Yep.
And I believe that the answers are out there. We need to figure out how to find the path to those solutions. There's so much data, whether we talk about wearables or public data or private data or aggregators of data. If we can define the problems well, and if we can simplify things, I think that's one of the biggest challenges. Is too often in organizations, we don't make things as simple as possible. But if we can simplify things, figure out how to find the right insights that increase that confidence in decision making, figure out that right analytical technique that we talked about earlier that helps you get that insight, then we can solve those problems. Our whole focus around analytics consulting or analytics professionals, we're trying to help decision makers increase confidence. And I believe we can get there. And I just really enjoy finding that opportunity, figuring out how to help, with teams of people, by the way, who are much smarter than me in many instances, right? The data scientists, the folks that can write the algorithms, right? It takes teams of us. It's not me alone or a small group. It's teams of people solving really complex problems that have really meaningful impacts for individuals and for their companies. I just really enjoy sharing that knowledge and helping other people be successful in those types of endeavors.
I love that passion coming through with just the way you answered that question. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, Dave. We're looking forward to your talk. It's come and see Dave and others at the Analytics Summit 2024 on April 30th at the Sharonville Convention Center in Cincinnati. We'll continue this series over the next few weeks, interviewing other speakers and keynotes, so you will understand what you're going to be experiencing at the summit. Thank you for your time today, Dave.
Thanks, Tim. See you in April.